Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to show you the new Boolean system in Cinema 4D. This new system is not something completely new, but an upgrade and an improvement to the current Boolean generator in Cinema 4D, which makes the Boolean operations way easier and effective than before. This is the object that I want to model today, which will take a lot of time, so if you don't have time and want to see what is this new deal, let me show you real quick. I'm going to add in a cube. Then I will add in this new Boolean object. Then I will drop this cube under it. Let's add in another cube. I'm going to change up the scale and move it somewhere around here. Next, I will drop this one cube under the original cube. Boolean generator is set to union by default, so I will set this to subtract. And here we go. Now let's add in another object, which is going to be the third one in the stack. This time around, let's add in a cylinder. Change the orientation. And let's move it somewhere around here. Then I will drop this one under the second cube. This is the new thing. Right click on the object, go to modeling tags and add in a Boolean tag. Now, this tag will allow me to change up the operation to, say, union. Let me zoom in, and as you can see, it cleans up the inside of this mesh perfectly. Now I will add in another cube, or let's duplicate this one, Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V. I'm going to move it here. Then I will place it under the cylinder. Let's enable fillets and increase up the radius to something like that. Then I'm going to duplicate this new cube, remove the fillets, make it slightly larger and move it somewhere around here. Then I will drop this one under this cube. Next, I will hold down Ctrl and duplicate this tag. As you can see, it does a really great and clean job. I believe this is the power of this new system. Basically, everything above the last object is considered as a single object. Therefore, it makes it incredibly effective to subtract or merge objects. What is more, you can always go back to the objects like this one, add in pellets, change up the radius. You can go to the cylinder, increase up the segments. So this is going to be it for this quick demonstration of this new Boolean system. Now let's get into this object. Let's open up a new scene. Then I will switch to the model layout. I will also bring up my puref file because I need to see this case. Anyways, I will also turn off the work plane and I will add in a cube. Now let me adjust the X size to, let's say, 140 centimeters. Next up, I will enable the fillets, increase up the radius. Then this is going to be it. I will call this base. Then I will hold down Alt and put this one under this new Boolean object. The next thing I'm going to add in is another cube. I'm going to move it somewhere around here and adjust the size of it. Something like that is going to be enough. Now I will make it editable. Tap C on the keyboard, then I will go into Edge mode. I'm going to select that edge, then I will enable Symmetry Hub, enable these axes as well. Then I'm going to bevel that edge out with 0 subdivision to something like that. We can turn off the Symmetry Hub. Then I will drop this one under my Boolean object. So, as I explained it briefly, the Boolean object is set to union by default. So this is something we want right now. Now let's move on to another detail, such as that cutoff part. To do that, I will add in a cube and place it over here. I need to mirror this on the other side, so I will add in a null, then put this cube under that null, then I will hold down Alt and select the symmetry object. It is mirroring on the X, which is exactly what I want. Now let me drop this symmetry under the Boolean. Now we need to add in a tag, this object, to subtract it because my Boolean object is set to union. So right click, modeling tags, and add in a Boolean tag and set this to subtract. It seems like we need something like that. Yes. By the way, right now I don't want to get in to Bevels. This is something that I want to do lastly. I just want to get the raw details. The next thing I want to add in is that detail. So why don't we duplicate this symmetry? Control C, Control V. This time around, I want to mirror this on the Z as well. First, let me move it on the Z. Then go to the symmetry and enable Z as well. Since I have that null, which is exactly at the center of the world, it is going to mirror it on the Z as well. Then let's adjust the size of this cube. I will go into model mode. So we need something like that, I guess. Yes. Now I will turn this off, show planes option. It is unnecessary. Then I will drop this one under my Boolean. This time around, I want to merge this object. So I will select the tag and set this to union. Let's hit NNB to see the wireframes. Time to time, I'm going to check out the inside of the mesh because I want to make sure that it is perfectly cleaned. Next, we can work on that detail on the sides. So another cube, change the scale, then move it over here. Yes, something like that. To mirror it on the other side, I will again drop a null, then place the cube under the null, then I will drop this null under symmetry. Symmetry object is initially set to X. I will turn this off because I want to mirror it on the Z only, so I will enable Z. Then I'm going to drop this one under my Boolean. This is going to be a union, so I don't need to add in anything because the initial Boolean object is set to union. Next, I can duplicate the symmetry. Control C, Control V. I'm going to move that up. Change the scale. I want to subtract this object now, so I will duplicate this tag, the subtract tag. And here we go. It is going to be that easy. As I said, I don't want to get into smaller details right now. I just want to get the raw details. For example, these panel cuts on the sides. I can duplicate this case. This time around, I want to make it editable so that I can select these polygons only, inverted selection, delete these ones. Then I'm going to scale these polygons on the Z and move it right around here. I will hold down Alt and drop this one under taken objects. Then I will add in a null because I want to mirror this on the Z. Drop it under the null and add in a symmetry on the Z. Now you know what to do. Drop this one under the Boolean. This is going to be a subtract. So duplicate the tag. And here we go. But now we have a problem. I don't want to cut off that cube. So we need to watch out the object order, which means that the symmetry should be right below the base. By doing so, it is going to affect the base only. Let me select that symmetry and move that cube on the X a bit. Next, let me add in a cylinder to get that detail on that side, actually on the other side as well. So let's change up the orientation to Z. Let's go to the front view, scale it, move it down, and also scale it down. And it is supposed to be somewhere around here. Let's change the Z size. Then I will drop this one under a null. Symmetry on the Z. We can go to the cylinder, remove the high segments, and increase up the rotation segments. Let's drop this one under the Boolean. I want to subtract it, so I will duplicate this tag. Let's scale it up. By the way, while doing this kind of stuff, watch out the crossing edges. Try to mesh them as much as possible, which will make the cleaning up process way easier. So for me, this is looking pretty fine. Now let's go back to the base, duplicate it, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and select these polygons only in the middle. UNL, UNI to invert, then select them all and scale them on the Z. I'm linking this to get that cut in the middle. So this time around, we don't need these polygons at the top. So I will just delete them. Then I will select these edges, move them down to say here. Then I'm going to hold on Alt, drop this one under a thicken. Thicken object allow us to adjust the thickness amount easily. So this is why I'm doing this, but you can also extrude these polygons. Then I will drop this one under my Boolean object. It is going to be a subtract. So hold on Control, duplicate this tag. And here we go. Maybe around here. I'm going to move this down a bit. Okay, then we have a plate or a box in the middle. So to add this one in, I will add in the box and change the scale. Let me back out. I believe it is supposed to be around here. I will drop this one here. This time around, it is going to be a union. So I can either add in a tag or I can leave it as it is because the Boolean object is going to merge this object. Let's check the inside. Okay, looks perfect. We should get that detail at the very top. It is going to be quite easy. I will just add in a cube, adjust the size, then drop it under this symmetry, or you can move it right over here to the very bottom. Alt and Control, duplicate this tag. Okay, seems fine. As I said, try to mesh these crossing edges as much as possible. I also want to find that object. Unfortunately, it is quite hard to select the objects that you want when the Boolean is enabled. So I will turn this off. Click on that cube to find the proper symmetry group. Then I will enable this back. I'm going to duplicate this by holding Control and dragging this down. I will change up the size of this box or cube. Then I will select the tag of this symmetry and set this to subtract. I'm going to adjust the size again. I believe it is time to get into further details, smaller details, like these roundings. So I'm going to start off with the first one in the stack. I will skip that one because it doesn't need any details. So I will select this cube and select these edges. We can enable symmetry hub, which will select all these edges around the mesh. Then I'm going to select bevel tool and set this to something like 4 and bevel these edges out. By the way, you can use bevel deformer, which will make the process less distractive. But throughout this tutorial, I will be using bevel tool. This one is looking fine. So let's select the next one in the stack, this cube. We need to bevel out these edges. I believe we could enable fillet. Yeah, I just need to increase up the radius and scale it up. This is not exactly at the center. So let's come over here and zero out the Z position. Next up, this symmetry, select the cube. We need to round out these edges. So this time around, I will just make it editable. By the way, symmetry hub is still enabled. I will turn this off, select these edges, bevel tool, bevel these out. Click off, seems nice. For that cube, I believe we could enable fillet, increase up the radius to say 4. Nice. The next one, this symmetry, I will just make it editable. Right click on one of these axes and set this to world. Move that up. Then right click, bevel it out. Then I can select that edge, bevel it as well. Then the next one, I will again enable fillet. Change the radius. Okay, these points match quite fine. Next up, I could do something for these details. I will just add in a cube and position it exactly here. Then to mirror this around 4 times, I will add in a null. Then select the null, drop this one into a symmetry. I will enable Z as well. Then select the cube, adjust the size. To see it better, we should drop this one under our Boolean group. This is going to be a subtract, so duplicate this tag, then adjust the size of this cube. Seems fine to me. Now we have another detail on top of that one, so why don't we duplicate this, then select the cube, change up the scale, something like that. Let's drop this one under the Boolean group, and here we go. It's going to be that easy. Now we can go to that cube, enable fillet. Seems fine. Maybe we can change up the radius to match these points. 4.5. Then the other cube, fillet, and this one is already looking fine. Now I want to add in another cube. I will use this cube to split this case into 2 different parts. The cut you see in the middle. So I'm going to position it exactly right around here. By the way, it should cover the whole mesh. Then let's move it down over here. Alt and Control, duplicate this tag. And there we go. It is going to be that easy. Now let's try to add in these tubes. Cylinder. Adjust the size and position. Then to mirror this 4 times, you know what to do. A null. Drop it under that null and put that null under a symmetry. Enable Z and X. We can remove the height segments and increase up the rotation segments. This is going to be it. Maybe we can move that up slightly and change up the height. Okay. I will make it editable. Select all these polygons at the top, make an inset, and move this up. You may be tempted to make an inset and move this down to open up the hole in the middle, but unfortunately it's not going to happen because these polygons will intersect with the initial mesh. So to open up a hole, I will use another object. But first, let's move this symmetry down here. And this is what we are going to get. The reason is I believe that cube is getting in the way. So to solve this problem, all I need to do is move these up 1 time. So to open up a hole in the middle, I will duplicate the symmetry, Alt and Control, duplicate it, and scale it down, move it up, Alt and Control, duplicate this tag, the subtract tag. In fact, we can go to the first cylinder and remove these edges, dissolve these out, and here we go. By the way, I don't like to see these symmetry planes. To turn these off, I'm going to come over here and search for symmetry. I will select them all and turn off show planes option. By the way, you could see some artifacts like that thing, I don't know what to call it, but to fix that problem, all you need to do is move things around, because I believe some points overlap. I believe if I move that cube down, it's going to solve the problem. Okay, that seems fine to me. I'm going to try to find this kind of similar artifacts. For example, this one is looking weird. Yeah, so let's try to find the one that is causing that problem. Yeah, this cube. So why don't we go into points mode, select points and move them around. Okay, that fixed the problem. Hopefully we do not have other ones. Let's not forget to check the inside of the mesh. It should be as clean as possible. Now it is time to make this Boolean object editable, to smooth out these sharp looking edges, just like what we have in this image. Just in case, I will duplicate this object and hide it. Then I will tap C on the keyboard to make this Boolean object editable. Next, I will go into points mode and I will try to correct my object as much as possible. I usually start off by going to the mesh checking option and enable check mesh, then click on edge points. This is going to select, as you can see, these empty points on the edges. So let's open this up and click on this icon to select these empty points. Then simply delete them. That was the first step. Now I will try to find this kind of points that we need to clean up. So right click, polygon pen tool. I'm going to merge that point to that one because I don't want to break that smoothness of that bevel or roundness. Same here. My target point is the point of the kind of the larger object or the larger rounding. Next, we need to do the same thing on the other side because this is mirrored on the Z. Polygon pen tool, merge that one to that one, and that one to that one. Same thing here. Again, my target point will be the point of the larger object, in this case, this one. Polygon pen tool, merge the points, same thing on the other side. By the way, this is a quite important process. If you skip one of these bad looking points, your bevels won't work. In fact, let me show you. I'm going to hit Ctrl Z, then hold down Shift and add in a bevel deformer right here. That offset amount is too much, so I will set this to 0.5. Now, as you can see, that part is looking really bad. Polygon pen tool, merge these, click off to see the beveled version. This part is looking fine. Okay, let me check out the other parts because I want to make sure that everything is clean and smooth. You see over here, we need to fix it. Turn off the bevel. Actually, you don't need to. If you go into points mode, it is going to kinda disable it. Now, my target point is going to be that one because this is a larger object, a larger rounding, which means that it is going to be more visible. So I need to protect that rounding. Polygon pen tool, merge that one to that one. Unfortunately, we need to do that 4 times. So what was that? Yes, that point to that one. that one to that one, and finally, yes, that one to that one. Let's click off and try to find weird looking polygons or edges like over here. This is happening because of the offset amount of the bevel. These edges overlap. Let me see if this is going to work. I'm going to select these polygons. Same here because it is the same shape. And move them on the Z. Just open up a bit more space. Yeah, now it looks better. We could apply the same thing over here. I am holding my right mouse to select multiple polygons at once. Then move these on the X. Click off to see the result. And there we go. Now we can clean up that part. I will grab polygonpen tool again and merge that point to that one and that one to that one. You know the reason. I'm just trying to protect the larger objects and roundings. And then I could grab brush tool and select all these points and merge them in the same place. Polygonpen tool again. Brush tool, select points and merge them in the middle. The next thing we could do is we could try to remove the stress on this kind of Ngons because it has lots of points on it, which will produce bad looking normals. So all I need to do is, for example, connect these points. By the way, I'm using the connect tool. It is supposed to be somewhere around here. I know the shortcut. You just need to hit M twice. Yes, this tool. Let me do the same thing on the other side. For example, we could do the same thing on that Ngon. As you can see, Cinema 4D is trying to kind of connect that point to that one. So let's do that. This area is looking weird. Let me hit NNB. Yeah, I believe it is happening because of that weird looking surface. I believe I can fix that problem if I go to Bevel and set this to uniform. NNA. Yeah, now looks better. Now let's try to fix that problem. As you can see, it is looking, that edge is looking really sharp. It means that, yeah, we need to merge these points. There are multiple ways to merge points. The first one is obviously the polygonpen tool. The other way is you can move that down, then select the other point, right click and grab the weld tool and merge these points. Now let's take a look at the other side, the same process. I'm going to move this up, polygonpen tool, move it down. Then you can also use the slide tool. Let's move that up, slide tool, hold down Control. This is another way. Let's click off. Seems nice. Now I will go to the font, tag of the object. Let's drop this down until any visible artifacts are gone. I'm going to add these edges as well to reduce the stress. I'm using the connect tool. Click off NA. Alright, now as you can see, I hope you can see, but there's kind of an invisible edge over here. I'm going to hit NNB. Let's add in more geometry. Like I can connect these points. I will click off NNA. Now it's looking a bit better. I want to also add in this kind of edges, which will make the bevel a bit better. If I look at the other side, this one has a polygon, but this one has a triangle. In our case, triangles work better. So we could add these edges in. Same here. I'm just trying to avoid huge Ngons, you know. Let me fix that part real quick. Like, notice what is going to happen as soon as I hit M twice. It's going to fix up that weird looking normals. Yes. Let's connect these. Then that one to that one. Seems like we have again multiple points. To fix that problem, you know what to do. You can grab polygonpen tool, connect the points. This one is okay. I will click off. We need to do something over here. Click off. I will also connect these points as well. As I said, I'm trying to avoid Ngons as much as possible, especially on curved surfaces. Click off. I think I can move that down. Just open up a bit more space. And then I need to apply the same fix on these points. So I will probably speed through that part. I believe this is going to be enough. I'm going to orbit around the mesh for the last time. I just want to make sure that the normals are as good as possible. Now the next thing I am going to do is first I will go into polygon mode, select all the polygons, then I will make a selection. This is going to be really important when I want to weight the normals. So make sure that you got that part right. So selection, select all the polygons, Ctrl A, select, and click on store selection. This is going to give us that selection. Now I am going to right click. By the way, we can turn off the check mesh tool. You can right click on the object. Again, you can duplicate it just in case. Then right click and click on connect objects delete. This is going to apply this bevel deformer. Now I'm going to hit NNA. As you can see, these beveled parts are looking really weird and sharp. To fix that problem, I'm going to weight these polygons. So to do that, first I'm going to double click on that selection tag. Then I will invert the selection, which will select all these beveled edges. Then I'm going to right click and open up normal editing tool. What I'm going to do is extremely simple. First, I'm going to kinda reset the normals of these selected polygons. So I'm going to first click on Heart. Then I'm going to click on to select it. I'm doing this to average out the normals of the selected polygons based on the surrounding polygons. I mean, this is my guess. So I will click on to select it, click off, and here we go. I don't want to get into that section, but as you can see, we have some dark spots. We can fix that by using the normal editing tool. First, I'm going to enable vertex normals to see the normals of the vertex. I will click off and try to find bad looking edges or polygons. It seems like we need to fix that point. I mean the direction of the normal of that point. So I'm going to select it. I need to make it perfectly aligned with the z-axis. So I will come over here. This is x, this is y, this is z. So I'm going to type in 1 and then click on align. And it is going to immediately fix that normal problem. Click off. Nice. Notice the difference between the triangle and the squats. I will hit NNA. Like these, as you can see, this one is looking way better transition between these different edges, but this one is looking a bit weird. It's not that bad. I'm not going to try to fix it. I don't think it is that visible. So this is going to be it for this tutorial. I believe I covered all the basics of this new Boolean system. I think with this new Boolean system and the way you can weight the normals of objects in Cinema 4D, you can create really fast game models or props. So in future, I want to absolutely get into that field more. So this is going to be it for this tutorial. If you have any questions, just let me know anytime and I will see you in the next ones. Bye.